The 2023 election campaigns kick off, but the ruling party is under the spotlight with intensity of the race raising the heat. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has warned religious leaders to be wary of politicians against the characters that have the tendencies of wrecking Nigeria. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimale in Abuja. Let's begin tonight by letting you know what the former President Olusegun Obasanjo said. He's now sent a very strong warning out to the nation ahead of the 2023 general elections. He spoke to the president of the Christian Association of Nigeria today in Abeokuta while on a visit to his residence. Chief Obasanjo said, "If we do not watch it, the politicians will wreck this country." The former head of state insists that the election process in 2023 is very crucial to the unity of this nation. Part of what the former president said reads, quote, "If you stand on the truth, you stand for justice and equity. It is then the politicians will not be able to mess us around, and I will say it with all sense of responsibility now. If we do not watch it, the politicians will wreck this country and we will all regret it. And in the next election, if we do not watch it, it may make or break Nigeria, and I pray that it will make Nigeria." These are strong warnings coming from the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo. So much to talk about tonight, as officially the campaign for the 2023 elections begin. Now, politicians will now have an open display of their manifesto and ideas ahead of the election. What does this period bring with it? A lot we'll be talking about tonight. We'll speak with one of the major leaders of the APC, a former governor, that you'll like perhaps to listen to tonight. So stick around with me, everyone. But first and foremost, before we get into that, I would like to show you some of the political roundup stories. And on the program also, I will go to Rivers State, where the politics of that state is already getting heated. What happened in 2019 seems like it's going to repeat itself, but politicians across the party lines are already talking tough. We'll talk about that later also on the program.
The Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has ruled that the Labour Party and its supporters can hold its Obidati 23 Ford Ever rally, billed to hold on October 1, but ordered them not to converge on the Lekki toll gate. The court also directed the Inspector General of Police and the Lagos State Police Commissioner to ensure compliance with the order. Justice Daniel Osiago gave the order today while ruling on a motion for injunction brought by 10 plaintiffs who are asking courts to, among other things, restrain the Labour Party, its presidential candidate Peter Obi, his running mate Dati Baba Ahmed, one Julius Abure, and their loyalists from holding the rally. The Federal High Court sitting in Damaturu, the Yobe State capital, has declared Bashir Sharif Mechina as the rightful candidate duly elected for the APC Yobe North senatorial ticket. Ruling on the case filed by Mr. Mechina against Senator Ahmed Lawan, Justice Fadimatu Muritala revealed that the primary election set to have held on the 9th of June 2022 and won by Senator Ahmed Lawan was invalid. Mechina had earlier accused Senator Lawan of not participating in the primary election held on the 28th of May 2022 as stipulated by the party, but his details were uploaded to the INEC portal by the party's National Working Committee, which led to the filing of the suit. The Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed November 10 to deliver judgment in the suit filed by Ibrahim Mustafa, seeking the declaration of the court that he is the authentic and valid candidate of the All Progressives Congress for the House of Assembly primary election of Edati constituency of Niger State. Justice Obiora Egwatu fixed the date after parties adopted their processes. The plaintiff in the suit is arguing that pursuant to Section 29 subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022 and the party guidelines for the candidates for next year's general elections, the name of Mohammed Ibn Mohammed cannot be submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission by APC, having not emerged from a valid primary election conducted by the party on the 26th of May 2022. Ahead of the 2023 presidential election, youths under the aegis of APC support groups are pledging their support for the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Bola Tinubu. Speaking in Abuja at a mini carnival organized by the City Boy Movement, the national coordinator of the group, Mr. Sugar Francis, says Nigerian youths are fully prepared to cast their votes for the party.
The main reason why we're here today is to tell Nigerians that there is only one alternative to the presidency in 2023.
A total of 526 National Identity Management Commission cards have been retrieved from foreigners that had illicitly acquired them from Nigeria. That's according to the Controller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Issa Jere. He was speaking at a meeting with top officials of the service in Abuja. He adds that the service is making concerted efforts to upgrade surveillance towards ensuring no foreigner participates in the elections next year and also to prevent their influx into the country.
Effort will be made to upscale surveillance activities nationwide. This is with a view to primarily ensure that no foreigners is allowed to illegally participate in the forthcoming general elections.
And as campaign activities for the 2023 general election kicks off, the Commissioner of Police in Rivers State is calling on political parties to focus on issue-based campaigns in order to avoid electoral violence. In a meeting with state chairmen of various political parties and candidates, as well as stakeholders in the upcoming elections in Rivers State, the Commissioner of Police, Friday Ebuka, notes that the meeting is geared towards getting all actors on board and ensure a free and fair election.
I also want to use this opportunity to call on youths of these states not to make themselves available as violent tools during the general campaign.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Now we go on a quick break, everyone, but when we come back, we get right into the thick of the conversation. We go into Rivers State. We touch on the beginning, the start of the campaign and some of the issues that have been raised. Stay with me, everyone. We go for some commercial break. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone. There is fire on the mountain for the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State. And thunder might strike again in the same spot, if you understand what I mean, politically speaking, in Rivers State, if care is not taken, at least on the side of the APC. Meaning that what happened to the APC in 2019 when they were unable to field candidates for the election might repeat itself. Well, this time some leaders of the PDP in Rivers State had filed a consolidated suit against the All Progressives Congress APC and former state caretaker committee chairman of the party, Isaac Ogbobula. The separate suits, which were later consolidated, had challenged the legality of the APC and its caretaker committee chairman, Isaac Ogbobula, to conduct congresses of the party in the state. But a Rivers State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt had struck that case out. The case had since gone to appeal. Meanwhile, the National Assembly candidates of the APC in Rivers State have urged Justice Stephen Dalop, Palm of the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt, to recuse himself from the suit against them by the state chapter of the PDP. The APC candidates, referring to the suit instituted against them by the PDP, which was titled the People's Democratic Party versus INEC and 17 others, they said that they do not have confidence in the judge and therefore issue hands off the matter for another judge. Let's get to look at this matter. I'm being joined by a leader of the PDP in Rivers State. He joins us virtually, Honorable Kingsley Chinda. And here in our Abuja studio is Honorable Ezemoye Ezekiel Amadi, one of the defendant in the case. You're a plaintiff in the case now.
I'm a defendant.
You're a defendant in the case.
I'm the 12th defendant.
Absolutely. So let's get to it. Honorable Chinda, it's good to see you this evening. Perhaps I should ask.
My pleasure and good evening.
Thank you, Honorable. Maybe I should begin with you, Honorable Chinda. Why is your party so concerned about the APC in Rivers State to the point that you went to court to stop their National Assembly members?
Well, firstly, for elections, there are rules and regulations. And so for any serious candidate, any serious person who wants to offer service to the people, you should be meticulous in whatever you're doing. And so for us, if we're going into an election, we think that the first step is to study the rules of that election. And then if we find anybody wanting, it behoves us to raise the red flag and say that this is not in tandem with the rules. If they say in a football game that persons that are above 20 should not participate, and you find somebody who is 25 years old being fielded to participate in the game, I think that the best thing you would do is to raise an alarm and ask the umpire to look into that issue and sort out the fact whether that person is actually qualified or not. And that is exactly what the PDP has done.
So when we wonder that this is what is not in your party, is in the other political party, it looks like what happened the last time in Rivers State when some APC members were not able to run in the race, not because of anything, but because of legality. Is that what you're trying to achieve this time around again?
Well, if we are participating in that football match and you're fielding somebody who is 25 years as against the rule that you should not field somebody who is above 20, and we are playing against you, do you expect us to keep quiet and go ahead with the game because you are not part of the other team? The answer is no. We are playing by the rules. And of course, we are meticulous, we are serious-minded, and we are offering service to the people. We should be guardian of that rule of the game. And that is exactly what we're trying to do. If the other party is not prepared, if they didn't study the rules, we would not allow them to toy with the rules and regulation of the elections. So PDP is saying that these persons are not doing their they didn't conduct their primaries in line with the regulations and therefore not qualified under the law to run that election. It is for the court to determine and say either that they are qualified and then we'll go to the field. All right. If the court says otherwise, why do you want to waste, including their own resources and time, going into an election that you're not qualified to run?
Let me allow Honorable Ezemonye Ezekiel Amadi to weigh in. He's one of those who are involved in this matter, about to be stopped if the court ruled in that direction. Tomorrow, I understand that the case perhaps will come up for judgment tomorrow. But you're saying something else. You're not only going to court to stand before the court to defend yourself that truly the process was right, but you are also raising a flag on the judge that is sitting on this matter at the appeal court. Why?
Sean, let me first of all correct the impression that there is a fire on the mountain for APC in Rivers State. Lightning doesn't strike at the same place twice. What happened in 2018 has happened. That would definitely not repeat this time around.
That is if the appeal court matter definitely goes in your favor.
Definitely it will not happen again. Now, if I start from where my friend Kingsley Chinda stopped, using the analogy of the football match, of a football game. Now, the rules of the match must give you the power, okay? Must give you the right to say these players you're fielded are 25 years, okay? You can't just come from nowhere and then feel that you have the right to question the other team. The rules of the game, which he talked about, must give you the right, that right to question what is happening in the other team.
But that's left for the court to decide.
Well, but he talked about having to question the age of any member of the other team. And I'm saying that the rules of the football match, of the football game, must give you that power, that authority to question, the age of the other team. Now, when, for instance, in that football match, the referee is the one who has the power to check the ages of the players, and the referee has come to say, I have checked the ages of these players, and their ages fall within the limit. And then you are insisting that no. So let me now go to the issue beyond the defense of that suit that was filed. Now, We have found out that the judge, Justice Delop Palm, has an unwholesome relationship with the governor of Rivers State.
Do you have evidence to that claim?
What evidence do we need? We can call for investigations. Before, he was the judge that handled the VAT case, the FIRS VAT case. If you ever go to unearth all that transpired in that matter, you will not allow Justice Palm to handle a matter that we are defendants against Governor Wike. A lot happened in that matter.
You're raising an allegation against an officer in the Temple of Justice.
Yes.
Now, it does mean that you as a lawyer, you know the enormity of what you are talking about.
Of course.
Before you raise this, just a moment.
This is down in paper. We are putting down in paper in
as a petition.
White. Yes, I
to
did.
the NJC.
Yeah, no, first of all, to the administrative judge of that division. It's there in black and white. I put it down.
That the judge should recuse himself.
Based on these grounds. That he has an unwholesome relationship with the governor based on what we know that transpired between him and the governor in that VAT case. It's there in black and white. We've written to the Chief Justice of Nigeria. We've written to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court stating the same thing. So it's not a matter of I'm not coming on air to lay allegations. It's there in black and white.
No, because as a lawyer, you of course know that there are differences between defamation and there are differences between when you write.
Yes. Well, okay. Defamation. When I write and what will happen, I'll be taken up for it.
No, the point I'm making is that when you make this kind of case, claims on television, live television, you must come with evidence. I mean, it doesn't matter if you write, it's your relationship between the person you are petitioning against and yourself. But when you speak on national television, there are more to it than what you have written. So the question is that I'm asking for evidence because you're speaking to Nigerians. Because you must lay this evidence here.
Are you expecting me to have evidence of what may have transpired behind the curtain in that VAT matter? You're expecting me to have evidence?
You are the one who is claiming. We are the one who is alleging.
I'm telling you what I found out, what I stumbled onto. That's what I'm telling you.
And what are those?
That there is an unwholesome relationship between both of them based on what transpired in that VAT case. I'm clear enough.
So, and you say that you do not think that the judge has...
he doesn't have, right now, he doesn't have the capacity to dispense justice impartially in accordance with his oath of office in this matter.
Have you received any response from the administrative judge?
Yes, I did.
We received. So what's the response?
And the response was that I should go before the judge to make my oral application so that the judge can give a ruling on it.
But not to recuse himself.
Yes, he has refused me to do that.
Have you raised that matter in court?
I have. I have raised the matter in court.
And so what was the response of the judge?
His response is that he's going to take that application and the matter together. You cannot take the application and the matter. I'm saying, do not hear my matter. And you're saying you want to take the same application with my application.
So what is your fear? Your fear is that you might not get justice.
My fear is that I will not get justice, not might. My fear, I want you to put it down here. My fear is that I will not get justice.
But is that the final cut on this matter?
Now, Sheung, when you, as a lawyer, when you begin take your steps in a course of action, there are consequences which you envisage. Okay? There are results which you envisage. If I follow what you're saying now and I rely on going upstairs, all right? Then the consequence, I would have walked myself into the result which their suit envisaged by going to that court. You have a situation where all the cases against all the parties in Rivers State, all the parties, same reliefs, they list the candidates. All the cases are before one man, one judge.
It was referred to as a consolidated suit now.
No, you can't consolidate a suit between when it's PDP and APC.
If those cases are alike,
they are all different suits.
All right, let me allow Honorable Chinda to come back into the conversation. Honorable Chinda, I mean, you took the case to court, you and your colleagues in the PDP. Now, I mean, there is this petition against the judge that is sitting. Let me get your reaction to it.
Now, Sheun, let us not avoid the facts of the matter in court.
I wouldn't want us to dwell. Sorry, Honorable. Sorry, Honorable. So that we
this
just hold on, Honorable.
Time bound.
No, Honorable. Just a moment. Well, I would not want us to dabble into the fact of the matter because it's before a court of law in Nigeria, and that will be sub judice. Let's treat the cases that are not before the court tonight, and let's treat those ones that are political. Go ahead.
Let me ask you. Should a litigant determine which judge to preside over his matter? No. There is an administrative judge in the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt who has assigned a case to a particular judge. The fact that you just come up to make allegations, and incidentally, Ezimoye, my friend and brother, is also a lawyer, that you just said that a judge is likely to be biased. It's not enough. Shehu, you have even asked fundamental questions. What are the facts that you have to establish your claim that this judge is likely to be biased? The only thing he has mentioned is that he was the same judge who sat over a matter between Rivers State government and the federal government, and the Rivers State government got judgment. So what it means is that any judge that sits over any matter and gives you judgment, your matter should not come before that judge again. That argument cannot hold water. And I cannot also see how a judge will decide to relieve himself of a matter that is before him for the singular fact that he is alleged to have given judgment in another case. I think that what they are trying to do is to buy time because the matter is time-bound. They just don't want to go into the merits of the matter. And let me also say that by the new Electoral Act, you cannot even stop that matter in court. You need to allow judgment to be entered, like you have asked. That is not the final court. You have right of appeal. If you have your facts of bias, that could form part of your appeal as you go further. I, of course, would not want to buy into that kind of argument because it is intended just to ensure that the court is out of time. It is not brought with good intention. It is not with clear intention. They want to buy time. They should wait. If we lose and we think we are not satisfied, we will go on appeal. If they lose and they are not satisfied, they have a right of appeal.
All right.
I will advise that they should go into the merit of their matter.
Let us wrap up this conversation. If there is any kind of libel that has ensued, what I'm running away from, which I wouldn't allow because I'm a lawful citizen of this country, I'm a journalist who understands the ramification of the conversation, I wouldn't want a defamation on this platform. And that's why I was asking if you have evidence, especially because you are a lawyer and you will be bowing before a judge with whom you are making claims against. You're touching on a very strong nerve of the principle of natural justice, yes, about the fact that you do not think that you're going to get justice in front of a judge. And it is very valid. But the question is, where do you go from here?
Now, the point is this. The point is this. Once, and let me correct the question he raised. I am not a criminal. It's not a criminal charge that is before me, that is before the court. I'm not an accused person. It's a civil suit. And so I have the right, even traditionally, I have the right to say, do not hear my case. I have the right. I'm not the first person. It has happened in the Supreme Court in this country. It has happened in the Supreme Court twice. If you recall, a while ago, Justice Bukachiwa, was supposed to sit on a matter.
The presidential suit from
PDP
against the APC.
And then there was this petition, recuse yourself because your husband...
And she did at the second
And
hearing.
she did.
Yeah.
That is what...
So that is what you're hearing.
That is what
because we need to wrap up this one. Yeah.
That's what every dissent judge should do. Now, what manner of judgment is he going to deliver? Against us, and we'll say, oh, we said it. In our favor, it will look like, oh, they intimidated him. At this point in time, the decent thing to do is to hands off the matter. There are 79 judges of the Federal High Court. 79.
We need to go now. Thank you so much, Honorable Ezimoye Ezekiel.
Thank you.
Amadi. Thank you so much for coming. Honorable Kingsley Chida, you just have about 30 seconds for your response so that we can go on this matter.
Thank you very much. Let me differentiate between what he's saying and that of Bukachuwa's husband was a card-carrying member of a political party and a candidate at the same election that was contested and that was before his wife. And these facts were brought before her. What fact has Ezimoye brought before the court? No facts. That you presided over a matter, it's not enough. My brother, it is not enough. Every judge would want to recuse himself if you bring up facts, but no judge would want to do that when there are not sufficient facts. I want to advise that we allow justice to reign, and then let us play by the rules of the game in line with the Electoral Act. Thank you.
Well, interesting politics of Rivers State. I mean, very interesting thing that a lot of Nigerians are watching. If there is a state that many people would like to see how things pan out, is Rivers State. Thank you so much, Honorable Chinda, for coming tonight, and Honorable Ezimoye Ezekiel Amadi. Let's switch gears now and talk about the flag of the campaigns. The presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has been speaking again on the issue of restructuring as a sure way to fixing the nation's many challenges. The former vice president was speaking at a book launch in Abuja, where he again reiterated his idea of how to move Nigeria forward. Take a listen to the former vice president.
Our plans for Nigeria and Nigerians are as follows: to restore Nigeria's unity through equity, social justice, mutual collaboration and consensus among our diverse peoples. 2, to build a strong and effective democratic government where the safety and security of our people and their property is our primary and singularly most important responsibility. 3, to establish a strong, resilient, inclusive and prosperous economy that generates opportunity, jobs and wealth, rebuilds a vibrant middle class, and leaves millions of our poor out of poverty.
Former Vice President and presidential candidate of the PDP. Today marks the official flag of the campaign for the 2023 general elections, which means that political parties, politicians, and candidates can publicly go to town to speak about their manifesto and their ideas ahead of the crucial 2023 polls. But there are a series of issues here that will shape this very election. One is that the APC, which is a ruling party, we need to brace up for a tough fight. They want to retain power. There is another poll today from Bloomberg, which again gives Peter Obi of the Labour Party a lead in the race if elections were conducted today. This is about the fourth or third poll that we're seeing coming every day. Tonight, I'm being joined by a former governor of Edo State, a chieftain of the APC, a former national chairman of the APC, a deputy director general of the APC campaign organization, Comrade Adams Oshamale. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Sure, thank you for having me.
Is your party ready for the campaign?
Absolutely.
Why is it that you've postponed again the inauguration of your campaign council?
Have we postponed before?
I mean, yeah, you did.
When?
There was a statement last week that you were supposed to inaugurate today or tomorrow, but that again, we've understood that it's been shifted.
When you say again, it suggests that there was a previous postponement.
A second time.
Now, what is the first one?
The first one was last week, was announced to be inaugurated today. But now we've understood that it's going to be shifted again.
Not true.
Indefinitely. That's what we understand.
No, fake news.
So give us the news, the fact of the matter.
As far as I know, the campaign council has not been inaugurated. First, because the chairman of the campaign council, it is no secret, he was away in New York to address the United Nations General Assembly. The Director General of the campaign was also in New York for the same purpose. And there's no way you want to go and inaugurate a campaign council in the absence of the president, who is also the chairman of the campaign council. Nor do you expect the campaign council to be inaugurated when the Director General, who has the operational wing of the campaign, is also out of the country. And these are not facts that were not known to anyone. If somebody had published that, it must be an error.
All right, interesting. So do you have an idea of when the inauguration will happen?
Well, I'm aware that the president is back now, who is the chairman of the campaign council. I'm also aware that the DG of the campaign is not yet back. He said he will be back by weekend. And so I will expect that upon his return, there will be consultations looking at the president's credit timetable, a schedule, and that of the DG. And once we have a clear date, that will be done.
Is your candidate around too? The
Well,
presidential candidate?
I don't report to him every day. I'm not sure if he's around or not.
I'm just imagining that since you know
but that is not the
president
issue.
Was not around, the
no,
DG is not around,
no, I know
you probably will know that
I know
because you're now going to be working closely with the candidates because you are the DG of the deputy DG.
When the campaign council is inaugurated and my office is activated, that is yet to be done. Now, what I've told you is not to secretly show that the president traveled along with several other heads of state and government to New York to attend the UN General Assembly, and that he traveled with a number of governors and a number of ministers and a number of MDAs. So it's not a secret that I have revealed to you.
We just wanted to get the first-hand information about your candidate, whether or not he's in the country. But since you said you probably don't know,
I don't see him every day.
Okay, so you don't know if he's in the country?
No.
Okay. To another very crucial matter is the fact that your party is a ruling party, and in any competition, you say, oh, is the party to beat because you are holding on to power right now. I'm very sure that you want to retain it.
Of course.
But the question is, do you have what it takes to retain it this time around?
Yes.
As a party?
If we think we didn't have what it takes, we will not be feeding a candidate.
You have a candidate that can win the election?
Of course.
What gives you that confidence?
We have a tested hand.
What gives you that confidence?
On account of who he represents.
And what is that?
That is a performer. He's not a new face. You know, there are two kinds of candidates. There are candidates who can pontificate about how they will put air condition all over Nigeria and they will make every Nigeria a billionaire. That is sweet talk. But we have to look at, incidentally, in this year's edition of the campaign, of the electionary campaign, that will take place hopefully by February next year. The main, what I would describe, or what most people describe as the main candidates, they've all had the office of governor. For example, my own candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was the governor of Lagos State for 8 years. The Labour Party candidate was a governor for 8 years in Anambra State. And Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was vice president for 8 years. And there are other candidates as well, but at least let me limit myself to these three. So they are not strangers to power. They are not strangers to electioneering. And people can look at what they did when they were in office before to be able to speak to what they might do tomorrow. But as I say, talk is cheap. It's walking the talk that makes the difference.
So you imagine.
So if you are going to look at.
How do you think your candidate stands? Amongst the people that you have mentioned.
I think it will come first.
Really?
Yeah.
But the polls are saying otherwise.
Which polls?
There are about 3 of them. There is one that came out, just a moment, Your Excellency. There is a Bloomberg poll that says that if the elections were conducted, Peter Obi is in the lead as we speak. There was the ANAP NOI poll, which gave Peter Obi and the Labour Party in the lead. There is also the We Together movement poll that was also conducted, released yesterday, which also gave the Labour Party a lead. There was another poll which says the election, if conducted, that's the 4th one that I mentioned tonight, that says, look, there might be, the election might not be concluded on the first ballot. So in any of these polls, your candidate has not featured as the lead.
It's okay. It depends on what weight you want to place on any of the polls. But you know, in this environment, all sorts of things happen. You conveniently ignore the findings of, Economic Intelligence Unit that says from their own evaluation and everything, they believe Asiwaju will win You didn't seem so.
No, I didn't get that.
No, you won't get that because it's not convenient. It's not convenient.
That may not be true.
Those of us who are looking at the whole picture, we know that that was not the secret.
Maybe it's available to you.
It's not published in an unknown mushroom paper. No.
Everything that I've said tonight have also been made public.
Yeah.
But the one
that's what I'm making, that it was not convenient to make this one public.
But maybe because it favors your party, that's why you have it. Some of us don't have it.
Okay, maybe because this other one favors your preferred party, that is why you have it.
You're not correct. You're not correct, sir.
You are not correct to say that what I saw, that you could see it. Your business is fishing around looking for news, even the hidden one. And mine, reading newspaper is just one thing I do.
I won't claim omniscient to say that I have all the knowledge, but I'm saying that those are the ones.
I'm happy that I'm able to add to your basket.
And I would love to see the details of that report.
I will show you.
Yeah, thank you. So, does it give you any kind of fear that this is a signal that this race might not be business as usual?
I have no weight whatsoever on the so-called opinion poll, particularly when you look at who sponsors what. I mean, you can afford, and it's probably convenient for some people to say there was one opinion poll which was sponsored by somebody you know is an open supporter of Peter Obi, and is entitled to resort to any tactics which he thinks might sway public opinion. And the publisher of those polls, the sponsor of the poll which was mentioned, is not like an independent medium. There will be a lot of fake opinion polls, but they are not more than opinion polls. Even if they were published by fairly well-known, credible people who are seasoned, or organizations that are known to be seasoned in business of opinion polling. So, but let me tell you why. I mean, there are common sense bases to even dismiss these polls. The first is, just 4 years ago, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar and my very dear friend Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra, they had a combined ticket. I'm sure you know that. And that combined force challenged the APC, challenged Buhari, and unlike in 2015, Buhari scored more votes against the combined ticket of Atiku and Peter Obi. And my simple reasoning is, divided, united, they failed. How can they possibly win divided? And their constituency is the same. If you check Atiku's votes, Elijah Abubakar Atiku, you will find that he got more votes in the South-South and the Southeast than he got in the entire North. Check the record. So he was more favored in the South than in the North. Today, those votes in the South may at best, and if you check APC voting pattern, in 2015, we lost the Southeast and the South-South. Indeed, it's only in my senatorial zone that we delivered one senator in 2015. In 2019, Buhari again lost in the Southeast and in the South-South. The highest vote was from Edo State. Even at that, we got, I think, about 46% or 48%. So, if the voting pattern remains the same, namely that they will not vote for APC, which I don't think is going to be the case, because now we do have more people who have electoral, who can be described as having electoral asset that are now in APC, who were not there in 2019 and in 2015, who are now in APC. So I believe that everything considered, Peter Obi, His Excellency, maybe, I mean, the weaknesses is the fact that I don't think you have looked at the polls you talked about, whether they went to break it down as they do elsewhere and say in this part of the country, the blue state, the red state, the green state, so that we can have idea where are the voters coming from, because it is the sum total of those that leads to a particular outcome. So I'm confident that in terms of a unified figure, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu is ahead of the two of them.
I've known you for...
They will get what they couldn't get together. They can't get it as individuals.
I've known you for several years now.
Yeah.
And I know something about you. Whatever you are confident and passionate about, everybody will see it. Tonight, you're a bit calm. Is that the confidence that you're going to win the election, or the fact that the humility of the fact that the race is not going to be game as usual? But you describe all of this, comrade, and you paint a picture that your party might have a win. But if you look at it, you will understand that the climes have changed from 2015 to 2019 and 2023. Things are not the same. Correct. So you look at it, the polls favored your party in 2015 against the round of play. A sitting government defeated. In 2019, against, you had the upper hand. But this time around,
the polls said so.
The polls were saying that in the last two elections. But
I'm not too sure.
President Buhari is
I'm not sure if we have the details. Yeah.
No, yeah. President Buhari is not going to be on the ballot this time around.
Absolutely.
What effect would that have on your party?
Well, the truth of the matter is, you said it, President Buhari is not eligible to recontest. And I believe APC will still benefit from his support base, because those who believe in him still believe in him. And the reason they believe in him are still constant, namely, there's an honest man, a committed Nigeria, one that fought for the unity of this country, a man of few words, but he commands huge integrity. I don't believe that those qualities have gone. I believe people still respect him a lot for those reasons. And therefore, if he directs his followers, those who believe in him, that this is where, and he has done that. In a recent statement issued on his behalf by one of his media aides, he was reported, and I watched it on Channel television, as saying that let nobody talk of a hidden agenda, that he, President Muhammadu Buhari, belongs to APC. He will campaign and support and invite those who believe in him to support APC, from the presidency to the Senate, to the House of Rep, to governorship and House of Assembly. This is no rumor. So with President Buhari's voice on the side of Asiwaju, that's a huge electoral asset. With all due respect to our elder statesman, Atiku Abubakar, he can't dispute the fact that where Buhari stands electorally, he can't speak. He is been tested and he failed. But you refuse to comment on the point I raised, that united between Atiku and Obi, bringing the Southeast and part of the South-South to Atiku's a little share in the North, that they were defeated. Now, Obi is running away with his own Eastern support. Atiku is clinging, and they're having challenges as part of the South. And don't think of Rivers alone. Even in Delta, they have challenges. You know, these are not things you need to talk about, because for us, the people we speak. And don't forget, Asiwaju's wife is from Delta State. There are people, as much as they want to have their son of the soil as a vice president, they also want to have their daughter as first lady.
But what about the internal issues? The likes of Babachi Lawa, the likes of Yakubu Dagara, that have stood publicly and spoken publicly about their agitation and their differences on the choice of your candidate, of Senator Kashim Shettima, and what they believe is the marginalization of their faith in this race. Don't you think that is going to be a factor in this election?
Well, you know, one of the things I promised myself, and my family members, including my wife, we've all agreed that Adam, this time around, don't go into measuring names. I want to raise issues. I want to discuss issues. Because to be honest, that is what will matter. I think majority of Nigerians are going to be interested on those deliverables that will impact positively on the quality of life. But if you insist, and I wish you don't, that I discussed Dogara and Babacha, I will ask you to go to the record. In 2019, at the eve of the election in 2018, Dogara, who was elected on the platform of his APC, and he became speaker on the platform of APC, decided along with Senator Bukola Saraki to decamp back to PDP. And yet, we won, as if Dogara never featured at all. But Bacha, check the record. We lost his local government anyway in 2015 and in 2016, even when he was secretary to government. So if we can't even cut back on his local government, he doesn't command or have substantial electoral influence in his local government, even when he was secretary to government. Do you really want to say that you go to miss your sleep because now he has chosen to be the champion of Christian faith? There are other things I could say with regards to how he left the office, but I don't really want to go
Comrade, they say they represent a voice of the Northern Christians.
You said it all. They say.
I mean, that's...
So I can so wake up tomorrow and say, I represent the voice of anybody I choose to.
But does your party and
self-proclaimed...
does your party and your campaign regard the Northern Christians as a minority and perhaps they do not matter in this race?
If we thought so, then Lalong wouldn't have been DG. I am a Christian. I am a Christian not because I'm from the South. I am a Christian because I believe in Christianity. So there's no such a not a Christian, Muslim Christians. I think that individuals are able to identify their priorities. And like I've said several times over, we have to advance our democracy. We have to challenge our leaders with issues. One of the escape routes that political leaders have always resorted to, which is very unfortunate, is to buffet up with non-irrelevant issues. They will speak to religion, they will speak to ethnicity, they just evoke primordial sentiment, and then in the process, they escape from accountability. I think that Nigeria of the 21st century, I don't think our young people, and even now the elderly, looking back, believe that religion is the issue. My advice, like it has been said by many, including the Sultan of Sokoto and a number of highly respected Christian leaders, that let's be careful. Hate speech, let's talk to issues. Let's talk to issues. So when you buy ticket going to Dubai, have you ever met the ruler of Dubai? I don't think you want to meet him either. You might go for the trade fair. He's not the one being exhibited. But if you like, you can buy a book that tells the story of how Dubai was developed. And when you go to London, or you go to Sweden, or you go to America, wherever you choose to go to, you look at what governments after governments have put in place and not, so let us discuss those things that will make a difference.
These are called the political issues of the election.
They are not political issues. Those are religious issues. I'm not a religious leader. I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. But I believe that if there's any person who can say, I am an evidence of infinite powers of God for people like me from my background to become what I've become in Nigeria, from leading workers to leading the ruling party. So my faith in God is unquestionable. However, for the purpose of this discourse, I think we will do well to interrogate all the aspirants, all the candidates, on what they will do in those critical areas that will make Nigeria work for the good of all.
I have two final questions for you.
Thank you.
The first being that beyond all of these political fringe issues, which of course are some of the things that have determined the choice of your party and your candidate, are also the fact that anyone who wants to lead this country must also show cause why Nigerians should vote for them. It does look like the conversation in your party is not talking much more about what your party has delivered to Nigerians in the last 7.5 years or more or so. You're focusing on what your candidate can bring to the table. Why is it deliberate to downplay the achievement of the APC in the last 7 years, or you just don't want to talk about it? Or is it part of your plan?
But you are being economical with the truth. With due respect to you are easily one of the seasoned political, let's say, a political activist because I see
I'm a journalist actually.
You don't know, go beyond journalism. You have the energy.
Because I don't wear the brown jacket just like you and your colleagues.
You know, whatever. You know, whatever election is taking place and there are political issues, you are there. You know, sometimes, remember there was a time, some of your colleagues in Port Harcourt, dodgy bullets and so on and so on. So you've seen it all. You paid your dues, with all due respect to you. I think that my party is going to release, my candidate, the candidate of APC is going to present his manifesto, which will be properly scrutinized by the party, and it will be released. And this election is about tomorrow. It's not about yesterday. There is no election that is about yesterday. And you asked a very important question earlier. That is that, given that Buhari is not on this ticket, now what impact will that have on us? And I said, he has his influence, and we hope to be able to benefit from that influence. Okay. However, if President Buhari was on the ticket, you would put that question, right? Now, this election is about tomorrow. It's about the next 4 years. You think people should rather spend their time, whether you are on APC platform or you are in PDP platform or you are in a Labour platform, to be discussing yesterday rather than telling us every child, every adult can narrate the story of Nigeria from independence to today. But what people want to vote for come February next year is those issues that will make a difference in their quality of life. And I'm sure that everybody understands, Shehu, that.
We're totally out of time. I do not even have 30 seconds, but I would like you because
I just wanted to say this point, that the spokesman of the party has on several occasions spoken to some of the achievements of this government. Whether you like Buhari or not, you can't dispute the fact that River Niger is going to be a reality before he leaves office. Whether you like him or not, you're not going to dispute the fact that at a point, even senior people were traveling Abuja, Kaduna by rail. We're not going to dispute the fact that some of the abandoned projects, because we're in a country where government after government abandoned projects,
we're totally out of time.
and try to complete the international airport. There are several others. They can speak to them better because I did this service, this government. But they have the record. So don't talk as if, assuming we're able to vote on those things, everything considered. I saw a vice president, Atiku, who was lamenting how they spend 60 billion on power, and he failed. So if he spends 60 billion, what is Buhari's annual budget now? What sector they spend $60 billion?
We are totally out of time now, but please do find time so that we can sit and talk more about this.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Comrade Adams Shomale, thanks so much indeed for talking to us. That's our show for today. I'm totally out of time. Apologies. I'm sure Kimale. I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Bye for now.